Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we'll be talking about the film Blue Beetle. Fun fact, Jaime Reyes is the third person to take up the mantle of Blue Beetle and made his comic book debut in 2006. This film came out in 2023 and stars Xolo, Mariduena, Bruna, Marquezine, and George Lopez and was directed by Angel Manuel Soto. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Blue Beetle sees Jaime Reyes returning home to Palmera City after graduating from college. After an interaction with Jenny Cord, she promises to get him a job at Cord Industries, which is unfortunately ran by her aunt Victoria Cord. Jenny steals a scarab and gives it to Jaime, and the scarab ultimately bonds with Jaime. The beetle scarab gives Jaime access to an arsenal of weapons, and he must keep the scarab out of the hand of Victoria Cord while also trying to stop her from using it to make weapons. Blue Beetle is a superhero film. It has similar vibes to Iron Man, Ant Man, or Young Justice. I have been feeling some fatigue from DC. One, for having bad movies, and two, always feeling the need to have Superman, Batman, or Wonder Woman in their films. And so I was excited to watch this film since it was a new hero and one that I was kind of familiar with. I honestly had little faith because of the track record of DC films, but I will say that this movie was great and really gave Jaime Reyes time to shine. Xolo Mariduena was perfectly cast as Jaime Reyes. He did a great job of portraying this kid who gets thrown into the middle of a family squabble and gets this super powered suit and doesn't really know what's going on. We could really see him learning how to become a superhero and how to work with the scarab to have the best outcome in their fights. It was cool to learn some of the things that Jaime is interested in by the references in the movie, like Final Fantasy, Mortal Kombat, and Back to the Future. I love seeing Jolo bring this character to life, and I know that there is so much restructuring at DC, but I really do hope that this character stays. I love that Jaime's family was so close and always supported each other through the ups and downs. Some of the moments were truly sad, like his dad dying. Some were funny, like his uncle in every scene. And some just made me so happy that he had a great support system, like seeing his grandmother gun down some of the bad guys after they tried to come for Jaime. This film showed that through the ups and downs, the one thing Jaime could always count on was his family. Also, Jaime's suit ups were dope to see. I think suit ups are something that is so small in these films but can be done super creatively, and I think that they did a great job with it. Not only was the suit comic book accurate and looked really good, but they actually took the time to show how he gets into the suit in the first place. And the first time we see him suit up, it actually looks pretty painful. Susan Sarandon was great as the villain Victoria Cord, who was ruining her brother's legacy and actively fighting her niece Jenny. She gave off true Karen energy and proved that she truly was a threat with her right hand man Ignacio. I'm glad in the end that Ignacio remembers that she is the one that has caused him so much pain, so he decides to sacrifice himself and take her and him out. This movie, I feel like, was a movie that everyone can enjoy, but also added in some references that Latinos in America would understand, especially if they immigrated here from another country or are first generation. Some of the people that immigrated here have faced an uphill battle with trying to make their place, and I think that this movie shows that it's hard, but with the support of your family, it makes it a little bit easier and more worth it. I think it's so important to show these different stories because in the past we've had so many superhero movies from the perspective of a white person, but America is a melting pot of different ethnicities and nationalities, and it's interesting to see what other races have to deal with in their day to day. Supposedly, Palmyra City is supposed to be in Texas, but from the looks of it, I would have assumed that it was more in like Miami area. It was cool to see a new city in the DC universe, and I love how they made sure you knew that this is the DC world by having a big old LexCorp building. The one thing that bothered me about the city was that the CGI in the city made it look really fake. Like, obviously, this isn't a real city, but I think that the goal is to make the viewer feel that it is a real city and it's not something that I felt that they did. I did love how his uncle kind of painted out how Batman has Gotham, the Flash has Central City, and Blue Beetle has Palmyra City as his hub and the city that he needs to look over. Blue Beetle has been one of the best displays of introducing a superhero into a world where other superheroes already exist. For some reason, other films feel like in order to do this, they need to have a million cameos, and this film shows that that is not needed. We see buildings and people making references to let you know that this is part of a bigger world, but they don't dwell on it to help remind you that this is not their story. This was Blue Beetle's story, and this film did a good job of letting this character spread its wings on its own and letting the viewer get to know more about Jaime Reyes and this beetle, but also not learning too much so they can, expand on it later on in future films. The movie feels like it's part of a bigger picture, but also still isolated. My favorite part of this film was Nana, Jaime's revolutionary grandma. Every scene with her was great and she truly kicked ass. I loved everything about her, especially when she tells the family to save the tears because we have got to save Jaime. And then at the end, she lets them know when it was okay to mourn. She was a ride or die for her family and proved that age ain't nothing but a number. Blue Beetle surprised me in the best of ways. I think it has flew its way into being one of my favorite DC movies. I think the action was great and the story really had me invested. I truly hope we get more of not only Blue Beetle, but also his family. Thank you for watching my video. I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. If you have not subscribed, please do so you can keep up to date with more of my videos. But besides that, everyone stay safe, have fun, and goodbye.